Hello and welcome as it is the completion of the third day of March 2020. My name is Derek. This is the Money Charts channel. Like always, all bets, trades of the like, well, that's within each's own risk and their own reward. We're going to talk about Bitcoin, some shit coins, and really just this whole, gambling on the president of the United States within the blockchain technology. Of course. No, well, that's the way it will be, or as it is. I'm going to be talking about it. And really just how this has really flown more into like an ETF stock market game most recently, especially with some of the trades made today. Let's get this beginning within the Bitcoin charts. And amongst first the daily term as the up run from point low to point high has supported the 18 average of lows, the excitation occurring in here. We've established this level of support coinciding within previous support and this level of resistance as well. After coming up to the 18 average of highs in the session on, what's today? Today's Tuesday, I believe. Let me just check my calendar. It is. So on Monday's session, after coming up to this 18 average of lows, we had a little bit of a pullback, but doing so amongst very small volatility. And if you're wondering if these markets trade within how the stock markets move, no, they don't. Markets are going through extreme volatility. Dow Jones, of course, one of those with big volatility, and microscopic or smaller than normal here amongst the Bitcoin price. A lot of this is going to come down to holding this key low to this key high, 61.8%, then the possibility for this inverted head and shoulders pattern. Either way, making it and breaking up to this level of resistance, whether it bottoms now, whether it bottoms at 77, and heck, even if it comes down to 71 and comes back up, and even if it goes down to, say, 54 and then rallies up, that would be a big failed breakdown if such an event like that too will occur. Either way, again, getting above the 18 average of highs, you really need to see that to start to say, yep, this thing has the potential to get going. And right now we're looking at like 93, 94, which means we got a good 8, 9, 10% rally before you can start to say, yeah, this thing is looking like in good shape, and the buyers are most certainly in full control because we have this declining average, and it needs to at least, and it needs to rally up to like 92, 91 in that area, but it needs to at least just hold and stay within just to neutralize this situation. And looking at this via the single hour, we've had, from the top at around 10K, from this one here at least. And heck, why not even talk about this one? So you have the significant down move in here. Oh, there's your failed breakout. Well, big moves below us, so failed move, fast move most certainly. Countless, well, if you want, you can count, but I'm going to say countless for me, lower lows and lower highs. But every single time it made these lower highs, the best it was all ever able to do was just get up to the 18 average of highs. And here, when it comes up to the 18 average of highs, it at least was able to hold, but every single time it declined at each time. Had this little bit of rally in here, but pulled back. But eventually, this was just more of a failed move. Regardless of the fact, where we're going on this is going in the sideways move within this level. After this little significant rally, because this is, you look at the rallies from all the kilos. This one, I'm not going to count this. We'll say this, because it only gets up to here. This was just an intra move that pierced below. And this one is several periods within that trend, that line that I just quickly drew in. But now we got this little trend that has been going on ever since over the past significant amount of hours from the top on March the 2nd, 1600 hours, or yesterday at 4 p.m. Eastern time-ish, 5 p.m. maybe, whatever. So for the last day and a few hours, over 24 of these going in this downward manner, coming up to the 18 highs, making the new low. And now over the last few periods, we've had some stabilization within this. 18 average of lows is flat. Most certainly we can see how resistance is being established, but so is support. And of note, of just this period alone, we can see what's very interesting and noteworthy and possibly bullish moving forward within this time frame is that we have this low, which is lower than this, but from this high we've had this correction and is bringing it back up to previous high. So to me, this at least looks poised to at least state that it's going to attempt to break at least one leg higher up above it, maybe, and that's only a move for like a 70, 80 point move. That's like, well, it's only like 1%. However, if you wanted to trade these things on extra leverage, this is why I'm thinking this is almost like ETF within the Binance funds. Well, they don't have a Bitcoin, but they have like Ethereum and Ripples and others. But I'm going to talk about Ethereum for this. But before we do that, let's just take a look quickly at Ethereum. A lot of it in the similar settings, 1 hour time frame. And earlier today, I had shorted this, I guess you could say, or used one of those ETFs to sell Ethereum down. And I got a microscopically nice profit, but an extra little bit of leverage funds, because let's just think of it this way. I could essentially, if I was an Ethereum holder or any crypto that you're holding that you think is going to break down, I could sell it against a dollar fund on like an exchange like Binance or whichever one you're on. Sell it against the dollar. Let's just assume, okay, I think it's going to break down here. And you're just looking for a small gain, whatever. So 225, and then it's down to like 221, 220. Oh, I gained 2%. I win. I get 2% more Ethereum back. Okay, yeah, of course you do. And you would, and you get a small profit. And of course, you can use that case for other time frames with bigger volatility. Or even just say, okay, I'm going to get out here for a bit at, say, 250, and then you manage to buy some back, maybe get a 10% move. The whole point of what I'm saying is, you sell your fund, you buy it back cheaper, you're going to get a gain, however you want to look at it. So what I used was one of the funds that they call the Ethereum Bear. And they got them for bulls and bears. But if I were to do this, I'd be right, but I can get extra exposure, because then I can play like an ETF as I'm looking at. It's almost like the Direxians that I remember coming up at the start of the previous decade, or really the end of the previous decade, like 2008, I think those things were out. And I was playing the 3Xs on the Canadian exchange back in the day. They were the, what did the Canadian ones call them again? It was like HGU was gold, NHGD I think was gold down, HSU, HFD was HFU, or financials up, Horizon, yeah, Horizon funds is what they used to call them. They were like leverage funds. I remember playing back in the day. Why I can still remember the codes, I don't know. Well, I'm not too surprised really. Anyway. So Ethereum Bear, US 3X short funds, and FTX. I'm going to be talking about FTX in this video. But for now, because I don't trade, at least maybe not yet there, let's take a look at this here on, BUSD. I use the BUSD just because it's the Binance coin. And I'm day trading it. I got to talk about this, I guess. Because I'm day trading, I guess, doesn't matter so much. I'd just rather choose this. I suppose the one with the better volume, but my quick early look, I think, was that they're around the same. When you see situations like this, what this is somebody just sold a shitload of these coins down at one time, pretty much had a huge inventory. If you had big buy orders, then congratulations, your buy orders here, holy crap if it's down here. Basically what I would be doing, depending on how your portfolio, what you want to do with these funds, and this is just a whatever day trading fund. And this should only be a day trading fund, something you hold for like a minute or an hour or a day or maybe a week or something for a mover. But this is something you definitely don't hold for a long time. By no means would you do this. This, to me, is a great day trading tool, both the bull and the bear funds, when you think something's going to go up or down. But if you're going to be buying or selling in here, or buying, basically your order, you come in, you got an order, like, the way it works is you can only do like 5x. So if the price at this time was, say, 19, you can put your order in for like 4. So the lowest, now the reason why it's in from before is because people had in here at 1065. So now you can put orders in for as low as 2, and you can see that's exactly why that's the low. Because people down here would put buy orders in. Well, 1073 is the lowest, so the lowest Binance will let you do is like $2 and whatever the low change is, which is what they would have done. And they never deleted them up until this point. See, at this level here, if you want to put a buy order in at 1544, now like $3 or so, like $3 in low change is the lowest you can do. But you stick your buy orders in there for some coins you want to hold. And if situations like this exist, you have a buy order in for like 4 and change or something, then it comes back to like 17. Well, now you can just do another trade for a huge profit and get it along the way. So just things of that nature can come into play very, very nicely. So here we are. This is the volatility that we are looking at within these types of funds, 15-minute term time frame. It was just wild earlier today at this little move in here. I missed getting... I bought like 16.29. I could have bought 16. That's what it came down to. But my entry point was, I think, was it 16.29 or 17.29? What was it, 16? Yeah, 16 change makes sense. Or was it 17? Oh, it was 17 low change. I could have got 17. That's right. So I bought in here. And the reason why I sold was because of a phone call. I was already up, and I sold a little bit already at the 17 high change. And then as it was just grinding in here and level, someone's like, oh yeah, what about this chain link? If you're watching this, you know who you are, but whatever. So yeah, and I think, well, I can tell you what I think it's doing. I haven't seen it in a while. It's probably had a good move, and it's just had a decent pullback lately, and no, it wasn't the case. And it didn't take me long to sell it at that position and get into this one. When I seen what I look like on the daily term time frame, it's like, oh my goodness. And this is looking nice too, excitation. Chain link looking really, really good to go, I think. But then I just looked at the daily, and it's like, it took me 3 seconds. I was like, oh yeah, I like it. And well, there we are. And it's looking a lot better than it's a lot higher. It was probably at about breaking it. It was at like 507 or something at the time, 511. It was just how it's breaking out from the 18 average. But when we can see here, and I put these Fibonacci lines in, I don't know how long ago. It's just, they just happen to hit here and there and yada yada, whatever. So as it goes, this line of resistance on June the 29th of last year's time frame, almost very rare pierced below, but that's the way it was back on October early, October late, and November mid. And then it breaks it concisely in February. We have some support there, really. And we had a couple of days of resistance here, one day even. But how we have the situation, nice move up, come back down into the 18, back to where you came from, all that type of jazz. And now you have excitation on February the 28th, an intra-move, small correctionary play over spanning 2 days, and how it's been breaking out like this and continuing. So I just like, you know what, I took all those funds that I had. It's a lot of trades that I had to do to get into it because I was trading another altcoin against Binance coin. So I had to sell it off onto the market. It's just a lot of trades. It was not fun. So I paid probably an okay amount of rake with the cheap rake when it came down to it. I ended up selling those funds originally for that of, Bitcoin. Then I took some Bitcoin and Binance coin and bought BUSD. Then I took the BUSD and then I bought the Ethereum Bear. Then I traded it, and then all that was done, I took the Ethereum Bear and I sold it against USD. Then I took the USD and I bought myself Binance coin. Then I found out Chainlink didn't trade against Binance coin. I was like, F you kind of thinking. So I had no choice but to say, yeah, let's change this. Then I had to buy some Ethereum just to have buybacks ready as if I needed any. This thing just started going up. I bought the Chainlink against Bitcoin, put my sell orders in against Ethereum, and as we can see here on the daily time frame, this is breaking it nice. So this is what I'm day trading individually. I thought I'd rather trade against Ethereum than I would against the dollar or against Bitcoin, but I would prefer to trade my coins against Binance coin. I don't know why they don't cross this against Binance coin. Chainlink is a serious coin. I don't know, but I like this setup. I think this looks like it's going to be going up. And that's just the way that one goes. So shitcoins, yeah. I should put this as one of my things. I gotta find out what these coins really are. We got these features, but FTX. I'm going to talk about this site. Relatively interesting because they're actually doing exactly what I thought about years ago, which is so awesome with the exact math, 100% to the T. I love it. We're going to talk about the presidency after this, but before we do that, another one of these ones. I mean, this is all this is like betting on the president to win and taking these coins and having these leveraged bull and bear funds, which for day trading are pretty damn cool instruments. With that being said, this is the bullshit. I love how this is written. I really, really do. It's like bullshit. I love it. It's almost like that Dumb and Dumber joke. What happens if you get if you mate a bulldog and shih what do you get? Like bullshit? It's like, it's just so funny. Anyway, it looks like the shitcoins are going down because the bull, no, going up. I thought this was a bear fund, rather. That's why I thought, no, it looks like they're going, I like how they're higher and higher lows are going on the 1 hour term time frame. I just don't know what the collection of these coins happens to be. This is where you can bet on this. This is what I'm talking about, my idea of like a long time ago. And it's doing it in the free market exactly the same way it's supposed to be done. I love it. But I hate future bets. I really, really, really do not like tying up my money for a significant period of time. Now, this is a market you can keep trading. And this is another way of saying what the people in the markets are saying, the chances that in this case Trump wins the presidential election. 60%, 59.9. This is the 1 hour term time frame. Because I was just looking at their website today. And I should even have it up in one of my things in here. Right in here. This is the website. This is where you can actually trade it. Haven't registered with this account, FTX, but that's where you get it. I think this is quite amazing. So how it works is, when the election's over, the winner is going to get 1, and everybody else will be at 0. So this thing will move really wildly on election night, for sure. And especially last year, when everyone was thinking early on that it was going to be Trump losing on the early stages, it seemed. And I remember that was just an interesting night. Anyway, this is things you can bet on. And when we look at Bloomberg, and a lot of these are crashing. Oh, Bernie Sanders crashed today. We'll look at that one next. But we can see, and this is continuing to go down the day's daily front. I haven't looked at this in like hours. I looked at it last at like 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's 8 o'clock as I'm doing this now. But, so the chances that he wins is 2.7%. It was up at 13. I guess election stuff happened today. Bernie Sanders, not Esberg, but that's a nice name. Not really. It's not Bernie. Who is? Bernie, okay. And this is, yeah, we see this going from 23% down to 11. Joe Biden. This one's going up. 25%. Well, I don't even need that information anymore. I'm already out of it. Oh, okay. Man, I got some advice today. A few hours ago, I was told to go long on this. What time was it at? Okay, it's 3 o'clock. It was 3 o'clock. What time was it at? That was at 3. Now, granted, it was... I mean, it could have been done earlier, too, from... Basically, the math was, okay, if we do believe, like, Biden's almost a lock to be 40% is basically what the advice was. And now it's only 25 or 38.7. I mean, is this something you trade? And geez, I don't know. But, you know, it's just something of interesting note. And FTX. And there's a whole bunch of different things you can bet on and different things in there. So, yeah, that is that. Is there really anything else that I want to talk about? I really don't think that there is too much. I guess we'll talk about the stock market. And silver and gold went up today too, which was really nice. Yeah, I added the Trump one in here earlier. I did add that one on the list. Let's just take a look at gold and silver quickly. It was up like 3% today. Stock market and interest rates cut to 0.25%. And that meant that, well, it means this gold isn't loading. And I don't like seeing this because my internet, which has been terrible for years, has been fantastic for weeks. But loading some of these things like this in the Dow has just always been slower. Anyway, there's the rally today. There's a top 1800 hours, 1 minute time frame. Got up to 1653. But we were already down a lot before. We're still probably below the 18 average of lows on the gold. We are in gold. Now, what a reversal this is. Just getting it all back. So the instant rejection, I guess, for an up or down move, it's a rejection of a down move. It paused it in one day. And, of course, it was with all the news that took place of the interest rate. But you see this, you hit this Fibonacci line. You have a very good correction. That correction is retracing itself back already. It's now at the 18 average of highs breaking through. This, to me, does seem very, very sickly poised for some sick-ass gains. It's like, holy shit, this thing is in a good position. And if you're in the position, silver's below the 18 average of those. But I remember looking at it before, and It's in at 17.17, and you get your ass kicked here, 6% down in one day. And it's interesting because this line did pierce above this high, which meant that it was, and it even pierced above this one. It was at highs from the breakdown from last September, making levels not seen yet. It made lows even seen before then, and from August. So and I like just seeing this kick-ass volatility because it at least means the shit's hitting the fan, this thing's going down. And, I mean, this whole, like, yada, yada, yada. But with that being said, as a crypto trader, I've got a goal for how many, and I don't even use it in ounces because that number is just way too large of a number, although this one is not that much different, still large as well, for how much in weight of that I want in silver, which is at least 10,000 pounds minimum. And I don't get anywhere near that number. And that's an extremely large number. But I can do it. I just need volatility in cryptos. I just need the right orders. And, well, you know, the bottom line is, if this silver, I'm going to go long term. So in order to do this, I'm going to have to go ahead and use this one. Because then those lines will get out of the way. And when I'm looking at this on the weekly, they just crunch and just they don't look good. So weekly chart. Come on, load her up. There we go. We're starting to get rejection on this. That's that OMA. If this one forms, this is going to be sick. It's Tuesday today. We got many, many days until Friday. If this thing can rally to 18 2/3 and close the week near that number, or anything above it, to have this kind of red candle come the next period follow through like that, that is just beyond sick. I'm kind of cheering for that, but I mean, the market's going to do what it's going to do, but I find that a very interesting situation. Actually, I already did that. And I only wanted to do this to go to the longer term. And breaking out above this, really it's getting above resistance. 1980, well, psychological 20 number is big, I suppose. Getting above this 20. You get all of this. The green size candles amongst this time frame, which is the monthly, should be expected to be way larger than normal. On the situation, of course. Getting above that. And even for that matter, you're going to start to notice the full throttle when it breaks 22 2/9. Amongst that. And then in the situation, for the whole point of why I'm bringing this up and want to say this, is I'm hoping if it at least does that it does what I've been thinking way back since 2017. And that is, if silver can get up to these $30, $26 levels, it shouldn't matter. Because Bitcoin and cryptos control those ratios. And I probably should be able to put a ratio. I'll put Bitcoin against gold just because they're fun to do. 5.36 right now. So, same thing with silver. So unless gold can really change its game, like meaning, we're looking at 3, 4, 5,000 gold like fast. Unless they can do those types of levels, then whatever Bitcoin does on the up or down side is going to decide if this goes up or down. So then Bitcoin or LITECOIN or whichever cryptocurrency you choose over that of silver, well, you know it's going to revolve its mechanism. Of course, if the cryptos go up, and it's so easy to turn the actual real cryptos into both physical gold and or silver, well then, you know what? That's what I'm hoping for, and that's what's going to try to make part of the plan to get to that goal of between 10 and 25,000 pounds of silver. And then I then have to find a place to store a lot of it, but you know what? That's a good problem in one to have. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.